All glories to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta Madhya Lila, Chapter 24, Text 325. Munini cha jati kichu na janon achara mohaite kaiche haya smriti parachara. I am a most low-born person. I have no knowledge of good behavior. How is it possible for me to write authorized directions about Vaishnava activities? Actually, Sanatan Goswami belonged to a very respectable Brahmana family. Nonetheless, he submitted himself as a fallen, low-born person because he had served in a Muslim government. A Brahmana is never supposed to engage in anyone's service. Serving others for a livelihood, paricharyatmakam karma, is the business of a Sudra. The Brahmana is always independent and busy studying Shastra and preaching Shastra to subordinate social members such as Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Sanatan Goswami felt unfit to write Vaishnava Smriti about the behavior of Vaishnavas because he had fallen from the Brahminical position. Thus, Sanatan Goswami clearly admits that the Brahminical culture should be standardized. Presently in India, so-called Brahmanas are almost all engaged in some mundane service, and they do not understand the import of the Vedic Shastras. Nonetheless, they are passing themselves off as Brahmanas on the basis of birth. In this connection, Sanatan Goswami declares that a Brahmana cannot be engaged in anyone's service if he wants to take a leading part in society. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni states that if a Brahmana is in a difficult position, he should not accept the occupation of a Sudra. This means that he should not be engaged in service for another, for this is the business of dogs. Under the circumstances, Sanatan Goswami felt very low because he had accepted a position of service in the Muslim government. The conclusion is that no one should claim to be a Brahmana simply by birthright while engaging in someone else's service. Text 326. Sutrakari dishayari haraha upadesha apane karahayari hridaye pravesha. Sanatan Goswami then requested the Lord, please personally tell me how I can write this difficult book about Vaishnava behavior. Please manifest yourself in my heart. The writing, this is the purport now. The writing of Vaishnava literatures is not a function of ordinary men. Vaishnava literatures are not mental concoctions. They are all authorized literatures meant to guide those who are going to be Vaishnavas. Under these circumstances, an ordinary man cannot give his own opinion. His opinion must always correspond with the conclusion of the Vedas. Unless one is fully qualified in Vaishnava behavior and authorized by superior authority, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot write Vaishnava literatures or purports and commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. 327. Tapetara dishasure moni chera hridaya ishvara tumi ekaraha sei siddhahaya. If you would please manifest yourself within my heart and personally direct me in writing this book, then although I am low-born, I may hope to be able to write it. You can do this because you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead yourself, and whatever you direct is perfect. 328. Prabhu kahe ye karite kariba tumi mana Krishna sei thoma karabe surana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, whatever you want to do, you will be able to do correctly by Lord Krishna's favor. You will manifest the real purport. Purport. Sanatan Goswami was a pure devotee of Krishna. A pure devotee has no business other than serving Krishna. Consequently, Krishna is always ready to help him. This benediction was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatan Goswami, who was authorized to write Vaishnava Smriti. Sanatan Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and through the blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was able to write the book perfectly. 329. Tatapi ei sutrera sunadigdharashana sakarana liki ado guru ashrayana. Because you asked me for a synopsis, please hear these few indications. In the beginning, describe how one must take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. 330. Guru Lakshana Sishya Lakshana Donhara Parichana Sevya Bhagavan Sarva Mantra Vicharana. Your book should describe the characteristics of a bona fide guru and the bona fide disciple. Then, before accepting a spiritual master, one can be assured of the spiritual master's position. Similarly, the spiritual master can also be assured of the disciple's position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, should be described as the worshipable object, and you should describe the Bija mantra for the worship of Krishna, as well as that for Rama and for other expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. In the Padma Purana, the characteristics of the Guru, the bona fide spiritual master, have been described. Mahabhagavata Shresto Brahmano Vai Gurur Nurnam Sarvesham Eva Lokanam Aso Pujo Yata Hari Mahakula Prashutopi Sarvo Yageshu Dikshita Sahasra Sakayadhyaicha Guru Shad Avaishnava. The Guru must be situated on the topmost platform of devotional service. There are three classes of devotees, and the Guru must be accepted from the topmost class. The first class devotee is the spiritual master for all kinds of people. It is said Gurur Nurnam. The word Nurnam means of all human beings. The Guru is not limited to a particular group. It is stated in the Upadeshamrita of Rupa Goswami that a Guru is a Goswami, a controller of the senses and the mind. Such a Guru can accept disciples from all over the world. Prithivim sa Sishyat. This is the test of the Guru. In India, there are many so-called Gurus, and they are limited to a certain district or province. They do not even travel about India, yet they declare themselves to be Jagad Guru, the Guru of the whole world. Such cheating Gurus should not be accepted. Anyone can see how the bona fide spiritual master accepts disciples from all over the world. The Guru is a qualified Brahmana. Therefore, he knows Brahman and Parabrahman. He thus devotes his life for the service of Parabrahman. The bona fide spiritual master who accepts disciples from all over the world is also worshipped all over the world because of his qualities. Lokanamaso Pujo Yata Hari. The people of the world worship him just as they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these honors are offered to him because he strictly follows the Brahminical principles and teaches these principles to his disciples. Such a person is called an acharya because he knows the principles of devotional service. He behaves in the way himself, and he teaches his disciples to follow in his footsteps. Thus he is an acharya or a Jagad Guru. Even though a person is born in a Brahminical family and is very expert in performing sacrifices, he cannot be accepted as a Guru if he is not a strict Vaishnava. A Guru is a Brahmana by qualification, and he can turn others into Brahmanas according to the Shastric principles and Brahminical qualifications. Brahmanism is not a question of heredity. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.11.35, Sri Narada Muni tells Maharaj Yudhishthira what a Brahmana is. He states that if Brahminical qualifications are observed in Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or even Sudras, one should accept them as Brahmanas. In this regard, Srila Sridhar Swami has commented, Samadhibir iva brahmanadi vyavaharo. Samadhibir iva brahmanadi vyavaharo mukya najatimat pradityaha yasyati yadi anyatra varnantarepi drishyata tadvarnantaram tenaiva lakshana nimittenaiva varanena vinirdishet nato jati nimitneti artaha. The most important criterion for deciding whether to deal with someone as a brahmana or as a member of another varna is the presence or absence of self-control and the similar brahminical qualities. We should not judge primarily according to the superficial characteristics like birth. This is stated in the verse beginning Yasya, Bhagavatam 7.11.35. If the qualities of one varna are seen in someone born in another, he should be designated according to the varna of his qualities, not that of his birth. There is a similar statement made by Nilakanta, a commentator on the Mahabharata. Sudro pisam majid puto brahmana eva brahmanopi hamadye puteha sudra evaha. Although one may be born in a Sudra family, if he is endowed with the Brahminical qualities, beginning with Soma, control of the mind, Sama, beginning with Sama, control of the mind, he is to be accepted as a Brahmana. Although one may be born in a Brahmana family, if he is endowed with the qualities beginning with Kama, lust, he is to be considered a Sudra. No one should present himself as a Brahmana simply on the basis of being born in a Brahminical family. One must be qualified by the Brahminical qualities mentioned in the Shastras, particularly the Bhagavad Gita 18.42. Samo damas tapasocham chantir arjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Unless one is qualified with all these attributes, he cannot be accepted as a Brahmana. It is not a question of simply taking birth in a Brahmana family. In this regard, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada remarks that Narottam Das Thakur and Sriman Goswami, although not born in Brahmana families, are accepted as bona fide spiritual masters because they were Brahmanas by qualification. Personalities like Sri Ganga Narayana, Ramakrishna, and many others who were actually born in the Brahmana families accepted Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamananda Goswami as their spiritual masters. The Mahabhagavata is one who decorates his body with tilak, and whose name indicates him to be a servant of Krishna by the word dasa. He is also initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, and is expert in worshipping the deity, chanting mantras correctly, performing sacrifices, offering prayers to the Lord, and performing Sankirtana. He knows how to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to represent and how to respect a Vaishnava. When one has attained the topmost position of Mahabhagavata, he is to be accepted as a guru and worshipped exactly like Hari, the Personality of Godhead. Only such a person is eligible to occupy the post of a guru. However, if one is highly qualified but is not a Vaishnava, he cannot be accepted as a guru. One cannot be a Brahmana unless one is a Vaishnava. If one is a Vaishnava, he is already a Brahmana. If a guru is completely qualified as a Vaishnava, he must be accepted as a Brahmana, even if he is not born in a Brahmana family. The caste system method of distinguishing a Brahmana by birth is not acceptable when applied to a bona fide spiritual master. A spiritual master is a qualified Brahmana and an Acharya. If one is not a qualified Brahmana, he is not expert in studying the Vedic literatures. Nanashastra vichara naika nipuno. Every Vaishnava is a spiritual master, and a spiritual master is automatically expert in Brahminical behavior. He also understands the Vedic Shastras. Similarly, a disciple's qualifications must be observed by the spiritual master before he is accepted as a disciple. In our Krishna consciousness movement, the requirement is that one must be prepared to give up the 4 pillars of sinful life: illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. In Western countries especially, we first observe whether a potential disciple is prepared to follow the regulative principles. Then he is given the name of a Vaishnava servant and initiated to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, at least 16 rounds daily. In this way, the disciple renders devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master or his representative for at least 6 months to a year. He is then recommended for a second initiation, during which a sacred thread is offered and the disciple is accepted as a bona fide Brahmana. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada introduced the system of giving the sacred thread to a bona fide Vaishnava, and we are following in his footsteps. The qualifications of a bona fide disciple are described in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.10.6 as follows. Amanya matsaro daksho virma modridha surodha astat varo ruthagjakshor anasuyur amogavak. The disciple must have the following qualifications. He must give up interest in the material bodily concept. He must give up material lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. He should be interested only in understanding the science of God, and he should be ready to consider all points in this matter. He should no longer think, I am this body, or this thing belongs to me. One must love the spiritual master with unflinching faith, and one must be very steady and fixed. A bona fide disciple should be inquisitive to understand transcendental subject matter. He must not search out faults among good qualities, and he should no longer be interested in material topics. His only interest should be Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as the mutual testing of the spiritual master and disciple is concerned, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that a bona fide disciple must be very inquisitive to understand the transcendental subject matter. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyata Jagishu Shreya Uttamam. One who is inquisitive to understand the highest goal and benefit of life must approach a bona fide spiritual master and surrender unto him. A serious disciple must be alert when selecting a bona fide spiritual master. He must be sure that the spiritual master can deliver all the transcendental necessities. The spiritual master must observe how inquisitive the disciple is and how eager he is to understand the transcendental subject matter. The spiritual master should study the disciple's inquisitiveness for no less than 6 months or a year. The spiritual master should not be very anxious to accept a disciple because of his material opulences. Sometimes a big businessman or landlord may approach a spiritual master for initiation. Those who are materially interested are called Vishayis, karmis, which indicates that they are very fond of sense gratification. Such Vishayis sometimes approach a famous guru and ask to become a disciple just as a matter of fashion. Sometimes Vishayis pose as disciples of reputed spiritual master just to cover their activities and advertise themselves as advanced in spiritual knowledge. In other words, they want to attain material success. A spiritual master must be very careful in this regard. Such business is going on all over the world. The spiritual master does not accept a materially opulent disciple just to advertise the fact that he has such a big disciple. He knows that by associating with such a Vaishi disciple, he may fall down. One who accepts a Vaishi disciple is not a bona fide spiritual master. Even if he is, his position may be damaged due to association with an unscrupulous Vaishi. If a so-called spiritual master accepts a disciple for his personal benefit or for material gain, the relationship between the spiritual master and the disciple turns into a material affair. The spiritual master becomes like a smarta guru. There are many caste Goswamis who professionally create some disciples who do not care for them or their instructions. Such spiritual masters are satisfied simply to get some material benefits from their disciples. Such a relationship is condemned by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who calls such spiritual masters and disciples a society of cheaters and cheated. They are also called Baulas or Prakruta Sahajas. Their aim is to make the connection between the spiritual master and the disciple into a very cheap thing. They are not serious in wanting to understand spiritual life. The words Sevya Bhagavan in this verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrta are important. Bhagavan indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu alone is worshipable. There is no need to worship demigods. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.20. Karmais taistar vrtagyana prapadyante nyadevata tam tam niyamam asthaya prakritya niyata svaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. It is also stated in the Skanda Purana, Vasudevam Parityagya Yonya Devam Upashate Swamatharam Parityagya Swapachimbandate Hisha. A person who worships the demigods and gives up Lord Vasudeva is like a man who gives up the protection of his mother for the shelter of a witch. It is also stated by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.23, Epyanya devata bhakta yajante shradhayandita tepimam eva konteya yajantya vidhi purvakam. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Demigods are also living entities and parts and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, in one sense, one worships Krishna when one worships the demigods, but not in the proper way. There is a proper method to water a tree. One should water the root. But if one waters the leaves and branches instead, he is simply wasting his time. If one worships the demigods to the exclusion of Lord Vishnu, his rewards will only be material. As confirmed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.23, Antavatu palam tesham tadbhavyachalpa merhasam devan devaya yanti madbhakti yanti bhamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Demigod worship is meant for unintelligent men, because the benefits derived from demigod worship are all material, temporary, and retractable. It is also stated in the Padma Purana, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahmaruradi Dhaivatai Samat Penaiva Vishcheta Sapashandi Bhavedruvam. Whoever thinks Lord Vishnu and the demigods are on the same level is to be immediately considered a rogue as far as spiritual understanding is concerned. There are three modes of nature in the material world, but when one is situated spiritually, he is above the material modes, even though he lives in this material world. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 14.26, Vamcha yovya vicharena bhakti yogena sevate Sagunan samatityetan brahma budhyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. In material consciousness, however, even one who is situated in the mode of goodness is susceptible to pollution by the modes of passion and ignorance. When the mode of goodness is mixed with the mode of passion, one worships the sun god Vivasvan. When the mode of goodness is mixed with the mode of ignorance, one worships Ganapati, or Ganesha. When the mode of passion is mixed with the mode of ignorance, one worships Durga, or Kali, the external potency. When one is simply in the mode of ignorance, one becomes a devotee of Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the predominating deity of the mode of ignorance within this material world. However, when one is completely free from the influence of all the modes of material nature, one becomes a pure Vaishnava on the devotional platform. As Srila Rupa Goswami states in the Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Anya bilasita sumyam Jana karmadi anvrutam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. The position of a Vishuddha Sattva is the position of uncontaminated goodness. On that platform, one can then understand Arodho Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayastha Dhamma Vrindavanam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Nanda Maharaj, who is to be worshipped along with his transcendental abode, Vrindavan. The word Sarva Mantra Vicharana in the present verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta means considering all different types of mantras. There are different kinds of mantras for different kinds of devotees. There is the mantra known as the Dvadasakshara mantra, composed of 12 syllables, and there is a mantra composed of 18 syllables. Similarly, there are the Narasimha mantra, the Rama mantra, the Gopala mantra, and so on. Each and every mantra has its own spiritual significance. The spiritual master has to select a mantra for his disciple according to the disciple's ability to chant different mantras. Thus ends our reading for today. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Om Vishnu Patra Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to
Sriman Krishna Ki Jai.
All glories to Sripad Bhakti Niskama Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to Sripad Bhakti Vigyani Muni Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.